I'd wanted to try building some Singleton decks in Modern for a while, not for a new format, but to actually set myself the challenge of trying to win with a deck that is of Singleton cards against the usual suspects.
Fuck you, Hollow One!
So one fateful Sunday evening I entered what we call a Splicer Call. It's where my biggest patrons come together to chat through what's going on in Magic, brew, just chill out and chat shit. I explained to them what I wanted to do, to try out established archetypes like blue-white control or Jund, but with a purely Singleton approach as a deck building constraint and a bit of a novelty. I explained that established mid-range or control strategies might be the best because the moving parts of a combo wouldn't translate well to the challenge, so naturally they collectively voted for and brewed a deck they affectionately called Jeskai Super Elves Green. Right. Okay then, let's get this over and done with. So this unique deck deserves a unique take on my normal style of video. For that reason, I'm not going to show you a deck list prior to the games, but instead show it after or after a couple of games so that you can go in with a sense of surprise and wonderment at the fucking monstrosity that we've made. If you can't stand going into the gameplay without seeing the list, there will be a link in the description below to the deck list so you can check it out now if you want to. The basic premise is this: Singleton Superfriends looking to utilise dorks again in a Singleton fashion to propel ourselves towards Planeswalker wins. It's called elves because we're playing quite a few elves, although some of them are just honorary elves, so, you know, fucking sue me. Also, we aren't playing black because although the deck is a full-blown meme at this point, we wanted to allow it to win somehow, so stressing a Singleton mana base to that extreme wasn't wise. That, and it gives me easy room to do a follow-up if this stupid fucking concept resonates with viewers. That's what we call smart, forward-planning content creation, kids. So in short, we're playing a 60-card cube deck against real modern decks. What could possibly go wrong? The cunts responsible for this hot mess are on screen now. My Patreon is the lifeblood of what I do here on the channel. It allowed me to jack in the day job at the end of November to begin to focus on producing more and more content. I'm a full-time content creator now thanks to the love and affection of these people, the largest contributors of which are on screen now. We call these the Splicers. We get together from time to time, usually weekly, to brew and chat shit. More and more of those brews will be making it onto the channel in streams and in videos like this. If you want to become part of the Discord community, just $2 a month gives you access to the Discord itself. Come and get involved and chat about Ajani hentai, complain about there being no meme room anymore, but for heaven's sake don't leave your sister near Ape. He's known for being what we call a sister seducer. Now honestly, it's only aroused the person that he's getting it on with actually has a brother that he might know. Of course, my largest and longest standing sponsor is MTG Traders. They supply me with the cards I need to play these rancid piles of steaming excrement and support me to keep putting these videos out. If you are looking to pick up digital cards for MTGO or even physical cards for your cardboard crack addiction, then you cannot go wrong with Traders for the digital and their sister site Cape Fear Games for the physical. Use the discount code GGGetWrecked for 8% off your order and to help the channel directly. And of course, a shout out to my friends over at Cardsphere. These guys are operating an ethical and friendly trading platform to allow you to trade Magic cards peer to peer. No mumbo jumbo, no nonsense, just a community wanting to trade cards. And with all that out of the way, let's play some incredibly one-sided Magic, shall we? We open with a one-lander, and yes, that is a doubling season you see in front of you. Welcome to the Jank Tank. We mulliganed into a better hand. It has 3 mana sources, a 3 CMC Planeswalker, a horsey man that finds us another walker, and some interaction in the form of Walking Ballista. Let's give this a shot. Turn 1 Thoughtseize, the turn 1 every pilot of every precarious pile of trash fears. But what would you take from this fucking mess of a hand? Place your bets now. They took the Machine Gun Bastard, which is fair enough. We draw another Walker, play a fetch, and pass. They play a Tarmogoyf, which explains the Walking Ballista choice. This Goyf is now a 2-mana 3/4 thanks to Sorcery, Creature, and Artifact being in the bin currently. End of turn fetch, top deck a land, make a Nissa. Easy game, easy life, right? They play a Dark Confidant and attack Nissa. We chump the Goyfy with a plant token, and Nissa lives to fight another day. We draw one of our first mana dorks, a Bloom Tender, and we need to figure out how to sequence things here with our missing land drop. I decided that a Bloom Tender makes more sense than the Lantern, as if we play a Walker of another colour next turn, it ramps us further and won't be summoning sick, where the Lantern only nets us 1 mana overall. Bob, by the way, this is Bob, for those of you who don't know, it's a colloquial name given to Dark Confidant because it's an invitational card designed by Bob Mayer. Bob finds our opponent another Tarmogoyf, which is Nice for them, I guess. Thoughtseize takes away our Khan from hand, and I fear an attack with Treetop Village here, but instead they tap out for the second Goyf. What would a herd of Tarmogoyfs actually be called? I'm going to dub it here. I'm going to name it because I don't think it exists. I'm going to call it a fuck ton. So for some context, if you see multiple Tarmogoyfs on the horizon, that's a fuck ton of Tarmogoyfs. Watch out! Don't get trampled underfoot of that fuck ton of Goyfs. Dark Lord, Bob and Goyf get into the red zone and we chump the Goyf so that Nissa survives for another turn. We untap, miss another land drop and need to think creatively. I play Lantern here and keep up path. Nissa makes another plant token. Bob reveals our opponent's very own premier 3-mana walker and it's about 100 times better than ours. Liliana lands and it ticks up. I think about options in terms of surviving and decide that Thalia's Lance is going to grab Elspeth Sun's Champion is the only realistic way that we manage to dig our way out of this pressure. So we discard this path to exile and feel a bit shit. Bob comes swinging at our face whilst both 6-7 Goyfs come slamming into poor Nissa. Good night, sweet princess. I'm not a big fan of this 3-mana walker, to be honest. She always feels super underwhelming whenever I resolve her early. She's a solid top deck in the late game in the same way that Gavany Township is, but the low CMC to allow us to play her early doesn't really impact the board enough. One of the fun things about playing Singleton, as Reed Duke highlighted recently in a video where he played a bug midrange, I think it was, in Modern or Legacy, I forget which format it was, is that you see more varied cards and therefore allows you to test things better. So if you've got a load of different cards, a load of different spice that you're thinking of putting into a competitive list, try playing a deck where you play a plethora of Singletons, and that might give you an idea of what you should be shooting for, fetching for, cantripping to, and it gives you a good idea of how powerful those cards actually are. From this video, for example, I've got that Elspeth Sun Champion is still a very good Magic card, and half the cards we decided to play other than Elspeth Sun Champion just a fucking shit. Post-combat they play a third Goyf. That is officially a mega fuck ton of Goyfs. That's 18 power of Tarmogoyf. Shit me in the mouth. We draw Ally of Zendikar, which is often a very strong card against Jund and other green-black mid-range decks, but it feels like it just isn't enough to stabilise at this point here. We can cast Lancers, and the next turn, thanks to the Lancers, we can make 2 mana of the Bloom Tender to be able to cast Elspeth if we are chomping one Goyf with the token. This is all dependent on no edict from the Liliana, and instead them continuing to tick up the Liliana of the Veil. We chew top Elspeth Sun's Champion with the Lancers. If they activate Treetop Village here or downtick Liliana, we are fucked. Bob reveals yet another Tarmogoyf. Fuck my arsehole, that is a ton of Goyf. They tick up Lily. Yes, yes, yes. We're doing it. We're doing it. We discard Gideon and we wait to see if the stars have aligned. Keep in mind that a Thoughtseize or a second Liliana will be very, very bad for us. We clench. They attack with 3 Goyfs. We block in a way that means that we will have to top deck another land to play Elspeth. Why do I do this considering the game plan? Well, if I take 12 damage here and go to 2, I realise during combat that then if I cast Elspeth and wrap the Goyfs away, we're then dead to Treetop Village or Bob swinging at us. Sadly, this is our only line. They then play a Scavenging Ooze and we draw a tapped land. I want to say this game was close because it kind of was. They're at 6 thanks to Dark Confidant being on our team effectively, but at the same time they have 25 power in play, including a Treetop Village that survives Wraths, an active Liliana of the Veil approaching her ultimate, and we have basically just some commander staples in play. So maybe not then. In Game 2 I feel more confident because we got to sideboard some random one-off graveyard hate cards to shrink those fucking Goyfs. And by confident, I mean we're going to fucking die. We have an opening hand of mana, sideboard card and ramp. We will just draw gas, right? 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 That's how magic works, right? We lead tap land and they play tap land. We dodge the turn 1 Thoughtseize and we get to play Lotus Cobra. All we need now is gas off the top and for the snake to survive and our opponent to not play a threat and basically for the stars to align. Not much, really. Easy. Thoughtseize takes our Prismatic Omen. Ha! Got him. You can't take our gas if we don't have any fucking gas. Then they fatal push our snake.
Snake! What happened? Snake! Snake!
We draw more mana, yep, we played this noble with the worst art and a relic, a tapped Treetop Village and Bob Hoskins from our opponent. We draw another anti-Goyf, kind of anti-Scoos card in Dusk Dawn. It also allows us to grind against the green-black X decks by bringing back all the creatures they dispatched if they aren't pathing things especially. So I like it, but we kind of need a walker to apply some pressure and then this to destroy their creatures. In short, we just have no pressure. We offer to trade our Dork for Bob and they don't take the trade. Bob hits a land for them and then they cast Liliana of the Last Fucking Hope, which is really, really good against mana Dorks, just so you know. Noble dies and Bob gets all up in our grill. We end step fetch attack untap land and fire off the relic in order to try and draw some gas. We draw a Khan and a primal command, which isn't terrible if I'm honest. We play Khan and uptick, and they give us a Faerie instead of a land. Okay, I guess. Thank you. Not sure if a misclick or just misunderstanding how this card works, but I'll take every inch I can get. And no, I didn't mean dick. I didn't mean dick. Bob hits another land because he is a bastard. Field of Ruin is actually quite scary for us as our mana base is a fucking hot pile of trash. Then they play a Fulminator Mage. Oh boy, that is bad for us. Bob hits Khan from 6 to 4. We crack a fetch for the thinning at the end of turn. At the time, I don't think it really matters here versus the Fulminators. I assume we're getting Fulminated anyway, as we only have one blue source in the deck as well. However, they don't know this, so if we had cracked in our turn for the Temple Garden, it would have been more painful, but we would have floated blue mana in response to the Mage, and probably got to cast a Faerie this turn. That's if they didn't Fulminate us in upkeep, which would probably be the correct line, of course. Either way, we could class that as a punt. I tick up Khan, get a Bloom Tender, cast a Chromatic Lantern, then opt not to cast a Bloom Tender, as it will just die to Liliana anyway. They casted fucking Kalatas, Jesus Christ, and tick up Lily whilst attacking Khan with Bob. I continue to tick up Khan when in reality making a Golem might have been a lot better considering we just drew spot removal for the Kalatas. So it's not a punt per se, but I think with hindsight I wasn't doing the correct line. Khan draws us another Dork essentially, that dies to Liliana, so we're going to have to Teferi tuck or Primal Command tuck that Liliana very soon so we can start making some board presence. However, we also need to not die to this pressure. Teferi draws another honorary elf that dies to fucking Liliana of the fucking last hope, the fucker. God, she's just so damn good. Oh, she's just so good. Teferi untaps some lands and we pass to them. They downtick Liliana the last hope to get back Fulminator Mage. Christ on a bike. And Bob has told us there is a Liliana the Veil in our future too. We lose another land to the Fulminator Mage. We path the Kalatas in combat and our opponent mistapped their lands so they can't cast Veil this turn. There is a silver lining to every dark cloud, my friends. You just gotta look for it. Instead, they ass blast our Teferi post combat, which makes me a very sad panda. Some might say that that was a Tron killer. We draw a land, uptick Khan and get a land. Lands and mana dorks. What more could a boy ask for? Fuck you, deck. If we tuck Liliana now to the top of the library, we need to also shuffle. Otherwise, they just draw off the Bob and then simply cast both Lilianas next turn. Does anyone remember when you weren't allowed to have the same kind of walker in play at the same time? At times like these, I kind of miss those days. I decided to go for a turn where I cast 3 dorks. They can't possibly kill them all this turn, right? Then they cast Gaze of Granite for 1. Gaze of Granite for 1. This is the fixed Pernicious Deed from Dragon's Maze that no one remembers, that doesn't blow up artifact lands but can still kill a load of walkers if pushed to do so, which Deed can't. I don't think I've ever seen it cast in a competitive game of Magic, so, yeah, scratch that off my bucket list, I guess. Also, did you know that there's a really cool comic book promo for Gaze of Granite? I only found this out whilst writing this video. It shows Dak hiding from Vraska as he probably attempts to steal something, the filthy tea leaf. And to further go down this tangent, for the non-British viewers, tea leaf is Cockney rhyming slang for thief. Gaze kills 2 of my dorks and Liliana kills the other. Tree, Clop, Vintage and Bobby Boy over here make short work of Karen, and I think the game might have slipped out from under us to the point that I'm just making up fucking weird nicknames for every card on screen. Maybe we can top deck an Elspeth Bums champion. Nope, that's a Gavin Township. That's not an Elspeth. We put Liliana back on top of the library and go and find Flavia's Lancers. They play a second Kalatas and a Liliana the Veil, and we discard a Duskdawn. We cast the Lancers and find Elspeth, but I fear, as my mother once said to my father, it's too little too late, you drunken bastard. They Edict us, which generates a zombie. Kalatas eats the zombie and they animate Treetop Village. We take 10 damage, go to 2, and now even Sun's Champion cannot dig us out of this hole. For the record, it's cool to see a green-black rock deck playing some spicy one-offs, knocking about in Modern. GG Rock E.
What do you think about
It's Boggles, or Bogles, or Boglins, or Shitweasels. I just don't give a fuck how you pronounce it. Okay, we don't plan to interact much anyway, so let's just fucking go. We lead turn 1 elf like any good elf deck should do. They play a second land and aura up. We take 4. We play an honorary elf and a Scooze. They cast Open the Armory and grab a Griff Spoon so they can fly over the top, but they swing this turn and we go to 12. We untap and draw everyone's favourite elf, Snake. We play out a fetch land after casting him and make 3 mana off that 1 land. That's right kids, Lotus Cobra turning fetch lands into functionally better Black Lotuses since 2009. We cast Primal Command, gain 7 life and shoot up Kratos Behemoth. I've decided that at this stage our only way to win is just to kill them. It's a race atop a raging beast. They apply a Shatner's Baboon, which is the Cockney rhyming slang for Griff's Boon, to their creature and slap us for 6, taking us back to 12. We don't have enough mana for Hoof this turn, so instead I resolve an Elspeth on turn 4 and down tick her in an effort to reduce the incoming damage and encourage him to attack her and conserve our life total versus a top decked Daybreak Coronet. We attack for 4 damage and our opponent paths the Scoos, not the Cobra, which is interesting. They fear our life gain more so than the impending Kratos Behemoth. They untap and their Boglin Boy beats up our Snake using Jamoka's command. Hardly a fair fight I would say, but good night sweet prince. We get hit to 7 and we are firmly in 5p territory at this stage. My arsehole is clenched so fucking tight you could feed me sand and I would shit out a diamond encrusted turd burger worthy of a king. A king! We play a tap land as we can't cast Hoof yet and we tick up Elspeth and pray they can't present lethal. They resolve a Glade Cover Scout and attack us down to 2 life. We fucking got there kids. We untap and we hoof the ever loving shit out of them. In game 2 we have a hand with no ramp and decide to mulligan it. 1 lander, what's the worst that could happen? We die with a load of dorks in play and a feeble forest that can't block all the damage due to trample from Rancor. Fuck. 1 lander, 1 dork. Okay, we mulligan. 2 lander with no ramp? It's got to be better than the 5, right? We play a load of dorks whilst this double Rancor 1 land slaps our fucking tits off. We stabilise with inverted commas on the 11 life due to casting Dusk and killing their only creature. We pray, we cross our fingers and we fucking pray for no second creature. And then a wild Boglin appears. We know that they're going to stick Rancors on this bad boy, so we use Oath of Gideon to make some blockers and pass back no attacks from them. They don't want to swing their 3-1 into our 1-1s because if it dies and they've got no other creatures, they're fucked. We resolve a Devoted Druid and we are 1 mana off casting a Big Khan and exiling some Rancors. They find a second land and cast Gadok Teague. Sadness is placed upon the stack. Almost every single way we have to kill Teague, from Planeswalkers to temporary answers like Primal Command, aren't castable through a Teague. Sadness resolves. We might just be fucked. Well, we draw a Rex Sage for the inevitable Daybreak Coronet, so that's nice I guess. They cast a Core Belly Dancer and cantrip a Rancor. We cast absolutely sweet fuck all as our hand is locked behind a Teague. And yes, I know there's some element of irony here of me being locked under a hate bear. I get it. Feel free to leave your comments in the comment section below. Press F to pay your fucking respects. They cast a Rancor cantrip, cast a Daybreak Coronet, and I'm officially upset and distressed. They attack us down to 3 and we end step search up Gavany Township with our Knight of the Reliquary and grow our team. My plan here is just to make enough toughness in the back end to block the Rancor creatures and we can use Rex Sage here to blow up the Daybreak Coronet. The Coronet goes to the graveyard and we clench our buttholes. They path our Knight on end step so our blockers are considerably worse now. They cast another Daybreak Coronet and I decide that enough is enough and I scoop it up. Boglin's beats 4-color Jeskai Super Elves Green. Who would have thought it? Okay, we're a couple of games in now. Let's take a look at the deck list real quick before we carry on. We are playing a wide assortment of elves and dorks, and the objective of this deck is being able to kill our opponents with a plethora of powerful planeswalker options. We have spot removal in the walkers and Singleton spells like Path, Bolt, and Dismember, and we have tutors in the form of Cord, Primal Command, and Thalia's Lancers. Doubling Season is ambitious, whilst our walker suite is just a collection of walkers that can protect themselves or transform our dorks to legitimate threats. So as you can see, Nissa, Voice of Zendikar, and Ajani Steadfast make the cut, whilst Jace the Mind Sculptor was dropped in a late edit to the deck. Let me know if you think there's any glaring omissions in the comment section below, and we'll see how the community's ideas line up with the splicers who helped produce this fucking monstrosity. Anyway, let's get on with losing another round. We mulligan no action into a Birds of Paradise and Walker's hand, not the worst. Opponent leads with the Steam Vents and the bird gets bolted. We make a turn 3 Ballista in place of doing little else, and they use a Snapcaster Mage to flashback and opt in our end step. They pass with shit tons of mana up, and the Snappy and the Bolt tells us this is unlikely to be Storm, so I place them on some form of blue-red control or mid-range. I'm thinking Wizards. Wizards is the most common blue-red deck I've seen other than Storm in current Modern recently. Instead of firing off a Walker into open Cryptic mana, I decided to attack, pump the Ballista, and kill the Snapcaster Mage before blocks. They bolt the Ballista and I just forget to ping their face because magic is hard and I am bad. They resolve a Jace the Mind Sculptor, so we stick the real 4-mana control powerhouse of old school Modern, Ajani Vengeance, and we Lightning Helix Jace's dick off with Ajani's down tick. Get fucking wrecked, Jacey boy. Then they cast a Blood Moon, which wasn't on my radar at all.
They played us like a damn fiddle!
Well, shit. We simply have to draw lots of elves, and we play a lot of elves, so it's not beyond the realms of possibility. We draw an uncastable 6-mana hench Catboy, uptick Ajani and pass the turn. We both make land drops for a while. I click the wrong land with Ajani at one point. Things move at a glacial pace for a few turns. But don't worry too much, we eventually draw a Llanowar Elf, which is probably the worst possible dorks draw in this situation. It only generates 1 mana, and that mana is green, and we need some fucking white. He gets remanded. End of turn, Snappy bolt the Ajani and untap and swing to kill him. It makes us quite the sad little pandas over here. We play a land and an elf and we pass. They then cast Through the Breach and put an Emrakul into play. Ding dong, we are dead. Okay, proper Blue Moon with a breach plan. Fuck me. Game 2, we have Choke in hand. Let's see how you like it, you little shit rag. We lead Dork into Oath of Gideon. We wait for them to have some tap lands and just land Choke to slow them right down. We cast Khan and we are looking pretty good with this Gavany here too. They end up using a Bolt to kill a core, which reeks of desperation. We use Felidar Guardian to flicker our Oath and make more core, presenting almost lethal on board with an activation of Gavany, and it also means we can survive a breached Emrakul and still have threats on board. They scoop it up. Got 'em. We have a hand of no ramp and stuff. We play a Scooze, then we play an Oath of Gideon and a Snake. We even have a Knight in hand to deal with a pesky Blood Moon too, if we can cast it, which thanks to the Cobra, we most certainly can through a Moon. We cast Vizier on turn 4, one part of the infinite mana combo, and they counter it and bounce the Scooze with Cryptic. For the record, I don't think we should be playing Vizier alongside the Devoted Druid here. We only have 1 chord in the fucking deck anyway, so the chance of assembling that combo is so fucking low, it just seems like a waste of a slot. Then the next turn, we take 15 and we sack down to just a Cobra and a Forest. It's alright, it's fine. I've won from worse situations than this. I play a fetch land, crack it, go to 2 life, but not noticing I shock myself and I die. Yeah, I should probably pay more attention to my life total. We play against a super fun and interesting deck in round 4. Only joking, it's Banned Spirits. We die to a Merfolk-esque flying big lads in game 1. Game 2, we have a Wrath in hand, but they lead Selfless Spirit into image copying Selfless Spirit into the creature that makes them hexproof. We called for a Dork and get it quellered, and then we just die horribly. Super fun magic was had. I can't knock it, the deck is efficient at what it does, and our deck is ill-equipped to deal with it for the most part. So yeah, that was fun. Good old Spirits. Fun fact, I forgot to hit record until turn 6 of this final round. In short, we were getting our heads smashed in by a Thought-Knot Seer and a Thalia. Dismember was a very costly and painful way of killing the Thought-Knot Seer. They'd also pathed our bird in draw step after we cast an Oath of Ajani to minimise our ability to play an early Teferi they knew about from seeing our hand. They were trying to tempo us out and kill us before we could get on board with Walkers. We managed to cast an Elspeth that we drew that they didn't know about and make some 1/1s. They have a display set and a lot of mana, so they can actually blink our tokens out of existence quite easily. 2 tokens a turn to be precise. So we played Doubling Season casually, like you do in Modern. An uptick Elspeth making 6 dudes, putting multiple counters on her. Seems pretty decent at this precise moment on this exact board state. End of turn, they flicker out 1 token, they untap and say fuck it and scoop it up. Doubling Season is confirmed to be good in combination with Elspeth Sun's Champion. Who would have thought it? They lead with a Concealed Courtyard and we lead tapped land. Thalia, as beautiful as she is actually rather fucking annoying with our Mana Rock and Walker plan with this hand. We play a land and a Scoos. I avoid running out and engineered explosives here for mana efficiency for 2 reasons. Firstly, if they don't know about it, they could play further into it with Arbiters and possibly Scullers, for example. Secondly, an unprotected explosives could get wisped and enter back into play with no counters on it, effectively rendering it useless until they are playing Blade Splicer. Of course, Sculler could get the explosives. Tap land and attack from them, we take 2, and then Sculler takes our explosives. No surprise. I prioritise fetch lands early to play around Cat Jesus, tap land, attack from Thalia, and then a Kambal. Did you know that Kambal is a vintage staple? For this and many more Twitch chat memes, check me out on twitch.tv/PleasantKenobi every Monday night from 7 PM GMT, where I get told by chat that Kambal is a vintage staple, even though we're not fucking playing vintage. The streams will be resuming shortly after New Year's, with more regular streams to be announced soon. Monday nights at 7 PM GMT. We fetch, end step, untap, draw Soul Elf, play Soul Elf, and sink some mana into him now, so we get to untap, hopefully, with 7 mana available to us. Our Scoos gets pushed, they attack us for 6, and then they push my Tree Speaker after blocks. Fantastic. I untap and I draw an elf and I scoop it up. There's no way we're winning that game. Playing the EE out would have changed the game massively, but that is with hindsight, and for all I know, they had Flicker Wisp in hand anyway. Game 3, we lead with Jiraga Tree Speaker, they lead with tap land. We untap, sink mana into him, tap him, and play Bloom Tender. Next turn, we will have 6 mana available. They play Thalia, we untap and cast an Angry Catman and shoot Thalia right in a silly white weenie face. I'm sorry, Thalia, I didn't mean it. I just wanted to look cool on the internet, don't hate me. Bloom Tender tends to their face for 1 point of damage. Thought Not Seer exiles our beloved Rexage and we draw another land. We tap down their only coloured source with the Johnny and chump block the TKS with the Soul Elf because this Tender currently taps for 3 mana. They play a Vial and pass back, we make a big old machine gun bastard and the Johnny taps down the Thought Not Seer. Vial ticks up like they always do on their first turn. They cast a Thalia, we untap, shoot Thalia dead, tap down their white source and cast a Faerie. They scoop in response. Wait, they scooped? We won a game? Wait, we won a game? If you enjoyed the video, be sure to click that like button and leave a comment telling me what your favourite bit was. Did you like the deck? What archetype should we tackle with a Singleton list next time around? And if you really want to get involved, come join us on the Discord by becoming a patron today. It's just $2 a month to get access to the Discord and supports me to keep making these fucking videos. Until next time, boys and girls, good night, sweet dreams, and I will see you all very, very soon. We won?
Dancing.